Hello everyone, welcome back to Non-League Nuts and Natter. We've stuck to our promise this week and it is Monday. So we won't miss a week this week. Andrew, sorry, no, 1 second. Yeah, Andrew. You didn't have a game last week, did you,
Yeah.
in the midweek?
I didn't have a midweek game, no.
No, so I suppose I'll kick off with my midweek game then.
Yep.
So yes, for the second time in 2.5, 3 weeks, it was the Black Country Derby in the Midland Football League Premier Division, as Dudley Town hosted Tividale last Tuesday night. Whereas the first one 3 weeks ago prior was seen somewhat of a 6-pointer, this one wasn't. It really wasn't a 6-pointer because Dudley are now pushing for the playoffs.
They've gone on in leaps and bounds since the last fixture then, so
Yeah, they've shot up the table. They really are pushing for the playoffs now. I think they're something silly like 11 or 12 games unbeaten.
right.
Yeah, and that goes from being in the bottom two at the turn of the year. So yeah, they're really coming on. Tividale still languishing in the bottom two. 4 points from safety, I believe it was. If there's two to go down, we believe there's only one, but there could be two. So yeah, a result really was needed for Tividale. So into the game. 8 minutes in, there was Tividale with a free kick on the right, I believe it was. Played deep and towards the back post, but was headed beyond for a corner by Dudley. Corner came to nothing. 12 minutes, James Douglas for Tividale from about 35 yards with a low-driven effort that we went 2 or 3 yards wide of the goal, not really troubling the keeper. 25 minutes, Dudley got a corner from the right. It's drilled low, goes across the 6-yard box, gets deflected towards the goal, but it's cleared away by Tividale. 29 minutes, Ryan Snape for Tividale drives into the box. He goes down, bounces straight back up. He doesn't even ask for a penalty. I think he lost his footing. He bounces straight back up, rolls it back to a teammate. I wasn't sure who it was, and they stab an effort just wide of the goal. A minute later, so 30 minutes, Dudley drive into the box. Their player goes down and they are asking for a penalty. Referee rises away the appeals. It comes to a Dudley player anyway who hits a shot, but it's comfortable for Lewis Connor in the Tividale goal. The next minute, so 31 minutes, Harry Crook has the ball for Dudley. Plays it across the 6-yard box on the right. Not 100% sure what happens, but it seems like there was a potential mistake from someone in the Tividale back line, and it rolls across to Abdul Bashiru for a simple finish to make it 1-0 Dudley. And then 39 minutes, Dudley should have been 2 up, and there's a low cross from the right again. Comes to the Dudley player who's got pretty much all of the goal to aim at, but somehow he manages to put it over. Half time, it's Dudley 1, Tividale 0. As I say, in all fairness, Tividale have played pretty well. Bit harsh, but as is the story of our season, we've been punished for our mistake at the back. So yeah, but optimistic that we've actually been quite competitive. It's closer than it was at half time in the last game against Dudley, and we didn't look like we were going to get overrun every opportunity like we did when we played them a few weeks earlier. Second half, nothing happened, in all honesty. It was just a close fought local derby. We thought we scored, but we weren't sure. Someone in the stand definitely thought we scored because they started cheering. There was an effort they hit the side netting. I think the Dudley keeper thought we scored, and then the ball rolled from behind the goal. I'm like, oh, it's obviously at the side netting.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, as we was pushing for the equaliser, Dudley should have gone 2 up again with a ball played across the box from the right. Harry Crook at the back stick, who, from what I've seen this season, you would have put your mortgage on him scoring, has actually cleared the goal, the start, and the fence behind the goal. So that's how it finished. Dudley 1, Tividale 0. Not the greatest results from Tividale but not a bad performance. I did look at some of the substitutions in the second half with a little bit of amusement, but as I say, I'm not the one in the dugout that's paid to make those decisions, since Stu knows the squad better than anyone. But there was one substitution in particular where we shuffled around 5 or 6 players, 4 or 5 players, when we could have just done a straight swap, which confused me a little bit. But as I say, Stu knows the squad better than anyone, so
Yeah.
On the face of it, looks strange, but I'm sure when we speak to Stu and I sit down with him, not to him since, he'll say, "Yeah, I did that because of this and this," which is okay, fair enough.
Oh, that makes reasons, definitely. So yeah.
Then, like I say, it's the first time this season when I've really looked at it and gone, "Well, what's he done there?" I'm not going to criticise him too much.
No.
Yeah. So that moved us on to the weekend.
Yeah, so the weekend, Saturday, and we actually met up for the game. This one, we both had an interesting journey getting down to South Wales, to the little town of Llantwit Major, just outside Bridgend.
Yep.
So I was travelling by car.
Yep.
From Luton. You were using the trains, the wonderful rail network of this country.
Yep.
And the plan was to meet up around about 20 past 1 in Llantwit, ready for a 2 o'clock kickoff.
Yep.
That didn't exactly go to plan.
No.
Because Ben here had no end of train problems.
Not for the first
to cut a long story short, I ended up picking you up at Bristol Parkway.
Yeah.
And then we drove the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Which was going fine until we got to Newport and then hit horrendous traffic around Newport. And we did get to the game, but by the time we got in and such, like, we'd missed 12, 15 minutes of the first half, hadn't we?
Yeah.
To be honest, not a lot had happened in that first 15 minutes, so we didn't miss anything drastic. So this game, we haven't told you the game. This is Llantwit Major against BK Skjold of Copenhagen. And this is a Fenix Trophy European match. Yeah. So this is the non-league European Cup, if you like. It's an invite trophy played through, where there's 12 teams in it, 4 groups of 3. They each play home and away in their group, and the 4 group winners then go to a little tournament style thing later in sort of like June time in Milan, where they have 2 semi-finals, a third place playoff and a final. So Llantwit are in the same group as BK Skjold and Enfield Town. And I went to Enfield Town against Skjold earlier this season. So this was a good follow-up to that. So we thought we'd get into this match.
Yeah.
So there we go. So we've got there. It's not much more than a playing field,
it's not.
to be honest. They have got it fenced off, but there's no floodlights. Hence the reason the kickoff's at 2 o'clock, not 3.
Yeah.
Nice little clubhouse. So they had a pizza wagon there, a fish and chip wagon there, because this had been promoted. They promoted the hell out of this. And to be honest, with the weather we've had in the last week, they did very, very well to get the game on.
They did, yeah.
There's no hard standing around the pitch, so you're walking on the grass of basically the playing field around the pitch. And it was squelchy, is a nice way of putting it.
It's one way of putting it.
Squelchy, to say the least. And the pitch was squelchy as well. It was clear that the Skjold players weren't used to those sort of conditions. They were slip sliding all over the place. Anyway, into the game. So we got there, missed the first 15 minutes. First thing we see, Llantwit Major, they're on the attack. And they were on the attack for quite a bit of that first half. Just after the 20-minute mark, they managed to smack one over the bar. And they were doing well. The first chance we saw for Skjold came in the 26th minute. Their number 9 was a big unit, but he had some real skills with his feet as well. You think you see this big guy, think, oh, he's just going to lump it and header it, and that'll be him. But no, he could move it with his feet as well.
Yeah.
So he did a good bit of play, got a pass into the box, and somehow the shot is tipped onto the bar by the Llantwit keeper.
Yeah.
As it happened, it wouldn't have mattered. He was offside. But even so, it was a damn fine save. So the rest of the first half was more of the same, and lots of Llantwit attacking. But on 40 minutes, something happened, and Llantwit had a player sent off. Straight red card.
Happened.
Something happened.
You
I
didn't see it,
didn't
did you?
see what happened. Did you see what happened?
I half saw it. I don't know what happened. Something caught our attention. It might have been the drone because there was that noise, weren't there?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
thought, what's that? And then we looked, and then as I looked back down, I kind of saw it. It was a robust tackle, I think is the way of saying it. Obviously, right on the opposite side to where we were, so we couldn't really see
Yeah,
the specifics. But yeah, for whatever reason, it was deemed a straight red card. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so Llantwit playing with 10 men for the rest of the match from that point. So we go in at half time, 0-0. The
yeah,
half was mostly Llantwit, but
mhm,
Skjold certainly grew into the game towards the end of the half, especially after the red card.
yeah,
But it's still 0-0 half. So we goes to get chips at half time.
mhm,
The chips weren't cooked.
no,
So we had to wait for the chips. But that was fine. But it was a very, very decent crowd. I'll tell you that. There was over 700 people there for this match,
yeah.
which must be, well,
It was
hundreds
a
more
record
than they would
attendance.
normally get. So
Yeah,
was the record attendance? Yeah, not surprised at all. So we
yeah,
goes back out to the second half with our chips,
mhm,
and it starts raining.
just a little bit.
And it then never stopped raining for the whole second half.
Nope.
So the already squelchy pitch became more squelchy.
Yeah,
But having said that, there was no standing water anywhere,
no.
and it was still playable, if very so. A very, very fierce shot from the right hand side of
One
the area
second.
goes past the
One
keeper.
second. We lost you a little bit for just about 5 or 10 seconds to go back to about the squelchy bit about the rain.
Oh, right, about the rain. So yeah, so it started raining. It was raining for the whole second half. The already squelchy pitch became more squelchy, but there was no standing water on it, so it was still playable, if just very soft.
Yeah,
The first action for the second half really was on 53 minutes, and Llantwit were going forward. Gets it just into the box, just by the right hand side of the box. Very, very fierce shot from the striker there, and gets it past keeper, 1-0 to Llantwit. So the 10-man Llantwit take a lead.
yep,
Then 5 minutes after that, Skjold coming forward, they put one just over the bar. That was pretty close.
yeah,
So Llantwit are now, with their 10 men, they're trying to defend this lead. They're not going forward an awful lot. Skjold are trying to come forward when they're not slipping over. Um, and the rain is coming down so heavy on and off throughout the second half that it's it's not easy to play in, let alone
no,
watch. 69 minutes, a good cross from Skjold. It really should have been the equaliser, but it went just wide of the post. That was their best chance, really.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then coming up into the last 10 minutes, Skjold is still going forward, trying to get the equaliser. 82 minutes, they forced a really good save from the Llantwit keeper, who was low down to his right, and he just kept it out down by the post. It's a really good save. It looked like it should have been in.
yeah,
And then just before the final whistle, just on 89, 90 minutes, Llantwit went forward again with another good attack, and the keeper did well to save that at the feet of the striker. And that was effectively it. Finished 1-0 to Llantwit. Like I say, a very good crowd, very good atmosphere there. It was nice to see another of these little European games.
yeah,
And after that, we then had to make the trek back to civilization, and
mm,
which was just about as tricky as getting there. But good
yeah,
day out, despite the weather, and despite missing the first 15 minutes, we had a good time.
yeah. It was, yeah, good day out. Nice to get out, see a different part of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah, just wish that rain hadn't come down, but it is what it is. Oh, you missed
it
out
is. Yeah.
one important detail from the game
Oh yeah, what did I miss?
when you were nearly taken out by a Dane.
Out by Dane. Yes, we were still behind the goal. Yes, he goes sliding in to try and stop the ball going out for. Well, he wanted a corner. He was trying to, and he slid straight across the touchline, straight under the single bar fence, and straight into
Yeah,
my legs. He
yeah,
did manage to divert himself off just enough to actually not knock me over. But
Yeah.
yes, it was a quite interesting moment. I was nearly taken out by a wild tackle, despite not even being on the pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you were doing at that point, because I saw it coming from a mile away, and then you were just standing there looking around like la la la, and I was like, he hasn't seen it coming.
No, I hadn't seen him at all until he hit me.
Yeah,
So, there we go. So yeah, so that was Saturday, and yeah, good day out, like you say. So I've now
it was,
been
yeah.
to, so far this year, this calendar year, 2024, I've done matches in England, Northern Ireland, and Wales. So at some point before the end of 2024, I need to get to a match in Scotland. But
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it before the end of the season, definitely. But I can probably do it before the end of the year. So
yeah, I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure, like I say, I'm sure you can get one in by then.
yeah,
I'm sure you'll find a cheap flight somewhere. I know what you like. We're looking for flight deals and whatnot.
yeah, absolutely. When I've got an airport walking distance away, I might as well.
Use it, yeah. But yeah, like I say, it was an enjoyable day. Good game. You would feel in not so torrential conditions that Skjold would have potentially wouldn't gone on to win that with the man advantage.
Yes, exactly.
As I say, I personally think the pitch played massively into Llantwit's Major's advantage on the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would speculate that Skjold would mainly play on 4G surfaces, being in where they're located in the world and the winters being as cold as they can be. Given the way that a lot of them were sliding, I would say most of them were wearing boots suitable for 4G pitches.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because the Llantwit players didn't seem to have the same problems with keeping their foot in as the Skjold players did.
No, they didn't. They could manage it all right, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we say, enjoyable day. Nice to see some
Yeah.
European football. Nice to see a different part of the world. Nice to see a new ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, good day
Yeah,
all round.
there we go.
I
I'm
still
just
don't
trying
know
to
what
work out
league
where we go.
Llantwit are in. I did try and look
Llantwit, I
like
looked
it.
on the
They
back of the
are.
programme. They are in the JD Cymru South.
So what's that like? Their National League North and South football.
I'm just trying to work out. I'm just going to have a look and see where that comes in
Because I know it's
the.
part of the JD setup, the main leagues.
Yeah. Okay. Cymru South. It's level 2 on the pyramid. So you've got the JD Premier, which is Welsh top division, and then it
Yeah.
splits regional under that. So level 2 is Cymru South, Cymru North. So they are step
Okay.
2 of the Welsh League's pyramid. So
Okay, that's interesting.
mm,
A little bit. I find it a little bit strange that they don't have floodlights and a lot of hard standing at that level, but different FAs, different rules, I suppose.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
A more
no,
progressive FA in Wales by the looks of it.
yeah. So I mean, a lot of teams I've seen, I quite often look at the fixtures, and they're all 2 o'clock kickoffs over there because, like I say, a lot of grounds haven't got floodlights. So there we
Yeah.
go.
Mm.
Having said that, they probably could have done with them even on the early kickoff on Saturday.
But yeah, it was starting to get a bit dark by the time we left, really.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for match reports. We've got nothing else on match reports this week. So
No, we were both selfish and decided to go to the same game, so unfortunately, just the one for the
yep,
weekend.
that's all you get. Tough luck.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd have a look at. There was an announcement earlier this week, in the last week, from the FA about television rights for the FA Cup from 25-26 season onwards, and
Yeah.
TNT have got a 4-year deal. It doesn't write off terrestrial television completely for the FA Cup,
No.
fortunately,
Mm-hmm.
because a minimum of 2 matches per round will be televised on terrestrial TV, and both semi-finals and the final will be also on terrestrial. But it just seems a shame that the competition like that has bowed into money yet again.
Yes.
Yes, and restricted access to an awful lot of people that just can't afford to pay television. It just disappoints me that the FA have decided to go down that route, and
yeah,
like I say, it's just rather annoying.
yeah. The one thing I'm not clear on, and the one thing it didn't address, because that said specifically from the first round, what the BBC have been very good at the last 4 or 5 years, particularly, is from the very, very first round in August, the extra preliminary round, having at least one game on the iPlayer.
Yeah.
To get the exposure for the non-league clubs in the earlier rounds.
Yeah.
It brings, like I say, it's not been very clear. Hopefully, it'll be cleared up closer towards the time. But is that going to be lost? Because if it is,
that's a
the
real
major
hit for non-league. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Darlaston and Sporting Calcer, two local clubs to me, they played each other in the preliminary round this year.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the preliminary? Yeah, it was the preliminary round. And I think they got £10,000 each.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just because it was televised.
Yeah.
Now, £10,000 level at step 5 goes a long way.
It
Goes a
does
long way at
indeed.
step
It
4.
does indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be very disappointed if the FA have not protected that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens on that one. Like you say, there's no news on it. And the other thing is, I mean, will teams be able to stream games themselves in the early rounds, or are they restricted to do that by this contract? Who knows? So
I don't think they can currently anyway in the
they
FA
probably
Cup.
can't with the FA one. No, so
No, I'm sure if it's the FA Cup, the FA Vars or the FA Trophy, they can't stream it.
right, okay.
It's all covered by the 3 p.m. blackout because it being an FA competition. It's my understanding. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding of it. With it being an FA competition, it's covered by the 3 p.m. blackout.
Quite possibly. Yeah.
There was something else I was just about to say on that. The FA have actually stated the reason they've done this deal is because they can get more money from TNT.
Yeah.
Understandably, because they charge ridiculous amounts for whatever service they provide, which will allow them to distribute more money into the non-league system. I'm like, will you though?
The amount of times they've said that and the amount of money going into non-league really is peanuts still.
Yeah. Because in all honesty, with my experience of the FA, all I want to do is take money from non-league clubs.
Yeah.
It's very rare that they award money. Even when it comes to the point of the senior cups, which are held by the local FAs, there's no prize money.
Yeah.
But you get fined if you don't enter it. So it's like, yeah, okay, so that really helps the non-league clubs, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
It's like now we're still in 2 senior cups, both of which are the second round. So potentially 3 or 4 games left in those, and we've still got to get the league fixtures in, and we're struggling to get them in because the weather's not helping. Yeah. The FA could ease this by saying, you know what, we're still in the early rounds of the competition. It's getting into March now to get the senior cups, but they won't do it.
No, we've talked about the cups and the senior cups and things before. So, but no, I mean, looking at non-league football, I mean, there are options for seeing things. I mean, I've been just having a dabble around YouTube today, just having a look to see what sort of stuff is out there, and there's between clubs themselves having channels that they put highlights out on. AFC Welling, local down here in Spartan South Midlands, they've got a channel. Leverstock Green have got a channel. Real Bedford have got a channel. Highlights. I've just seen Weston-super-Mare. They're a bit higher up the pyramid. They're Panorama National League South. They've got their own channel. They put highlights out on. And then you've got various vloggers. I know we've talked about Dash 71 before, but there are others out there as well that go around ground hopping and doing little vlogs about grounds and matches.
Yeah.
So I just literally went to YouTube and put Spartan South Midlands League into the search, and lots of stuff came up. Lots of recent stuff as well from this weekend. So the stuff is out there. I mean, if we just, I've got it open now, so I'm just going to put in Midland Premier League, which is your local lot, and just see what comes up.
You'll probably get Brooksy TV come up. He seems to be the main one around here, or Newton TV as well.
Okay, just seeing what comes up.
And you've also got Will Burford. He does a lot of West Brom mainly, but he does come to non-league games as well as when he gets a chance. But he is mainly West Brom. Yeah. But those are the big three I know of around here. Yeah. So you got Brooksy TV.
This is definitely a case of advertising video people today. Yeah. Called Oliver Sims, and we've also got Carlos the Villain, who both have channels and put out regular footage from non-league games.
Okay.
So there's lots out there. So if you're looking for footage, just go out and have a look around and just see what's there. And support these channels to try and get them up there and get this footage out onto a wider audience, I think. Definitely. And will, like you say, with the FA Cup, it remains to be seen what happens with the before round one games in the future. But
yeah, no, definitely. Just while I'm thinking about it, because I forgot to write this down and I will forget it. But if you remember a few weeks ago, I said about the EBAC Northern League, they'd cancelled their League Cups because of fixture congestion. They've now written to the FA requesting permission to extend their season because their worried teams aren't going to get the games in time. So as we said before Christmas, whenever it was, it's good. Seems to be a well-run league. Seems to have the consideration of the teams at the forefront. And I think other teams need to take note and start being a bit more proactive.
I think if more league administrators and people actually started siding with their clubs and going back against the FA and saying, no, look, this is not realistic at this level, then they might start to listen if enough leagues actually backed their teams better, certainly.
Yeah, and it has been somewhat of a wet winter this year.
It has, it has been unusually wet. So,
yeah, because we had the discussion at Tividale a few weeks ago. We'd rather it freeze because we can deal with that better than we can with the wet because it freezes and thaws.
Yeah,
it's playable. It's the problem is when it rains, it doesn't. It stops for a day or two, but then it rains again. It doesn't have a chance to dry off in the first place, and you then squeeze a game in that you probably shouldn't have squeezed in, and it makes it worse going on.
Yes. Well, who knows what will happen? But we've talked about options they can do, but certainly, I think the leagues need to actually start defending their stance and their clubs more against the FA and say, look, be realistic. Because at the FA have any idea whatsoever what it means to be playing at step 5 and step 6. They've probably never been anywhere near a step 5 or 6 game.
No, probably not, no. But then I'd say that about some of the people who run the leagues as well. They probably ain't got a clue what it's actually like to play at it. They're just interested in having the money from the teams and do whatever they can do. Some of those are as old and decrepit and as outdated as the FA itself. So I think we need more younger people getting involved with the leagues themselves, but it's quite difficult because of the way they are set up. They are. They are. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not looking. I don't know. It's difficult. They're not open to change, I think is the best way of saying it. I think it scares them.
It's very much gives the impression of being a closed shop and and job for life type thing as well, whether you're still fit for doing the job or not. So it certainly gives that impression at times. I'm not saying it is the case, but that's the impression you get certainly at some times. So. So, yeah. So, like I say, just make use of YouTube and have a look around and watch some stuff because there's some good stuff out there. So,
There is, yeah. Gives you exposure to clubs as well. Even just putting that into YouTube as well, it might make you aware of a club in your local area you didn't even know existed.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
As I say, I've just asked a question downstairs. My other half um, lived has lived in Tividale for 95% of her life.
yeah.
And I asked her the question, I was like, if it wasn't for me, would you even know that football club existed? And she went, nope.
No.
She lives in
Yeah.
Tividale.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Yeah.
out there, people, and find your local clubs, especially coming up towards 23rd of March, which is non-league day
Yep.
this year because it's in the international break. Lots of clubs will be doing lots of things to encourage you to go along to their matches and experience non-league football on that day. So look out for all the offers, and there'll be discounts, there'll be special things going on at clubs. So have a look around at your local clubs and see what's there. So that's
Yeah, 100%.
23rd of March.
Yeah, that's the entire weekend as well. Some teams purposely work with other local teams to move it. So one will play potentially Friday night, another team will play Saturday dinner time-ish. Who want to play afternoon,
Yeah.
Saturday evening, and some play on Sunday. So it's kind of like a groundhog weekend. Some local teams work it out so they try and get as many people to each club as possible.
Yeah, that's it. So,
yeah, you can probably go to 4 or 5 games for the price it would cost you for one Premier League ticket. So
definitely,
if you've got the time, why not?
Well, that was one thing that cost us £10 on Saturday, and that was that Fenix Trophy match. That was a big fixture. So, yeah, that was,
100%. Can't grumble at that at all. I think it was like £11.40 with the booking fee, but again, I'm not grumbling at that. Like I say, for a UEFA sanctioned European competition, can't really complain.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So,
Get a ticket that cheap for the Champions League.
yeah, exactly. Cool. So while we were down in Llantwit, what were the big scores at the weekend?
Right, where are they? So they were again steps 1 to 4, 2, 4, 6, 10 this week. As I say, I've changed my parameters to 6 goals or more because before, frankly, there was far too many. So we have AFC File 2, Barnet 4, Bromley 4, Chesterfield 3, Wealdstone 2, Gateshead 4, Rushall Olympic 3, Gloucester City 3, Macclesfield 5, Ilkeston Town 3, Elville Church 4, Stamford 3, Loughborough Dynamo 4, Sutton Coldfield Town 2. Now, who the hell is this? Gorton 4. My writing's just gone. So yeah, it was Gorton 4, Meldon and Tiptree 2, Lancing 4, Phoenix Sports 2, and I'm not even sure what that says. Somebody Bermiston Heath, maybe 4, and Willand Rovers 2. My writing is atrocious. Let me try and find that one again because I've got the paper here. I ran out of space and tried to squish it in, so bear with me. It would have been the last page or 2 of the results. Bemerton Heath for Willand Rovers 2.
So you were pretty close.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
There you go. Lots of goals at non-league.
Yes, and just an update. I wasn't there, but for those of you who have potentially become interested in Tividale listening to this, they lost 2-1 to AFC Wolverinians at the weekend, so still no upturn in our results. Spoken to Wayne, the goalkeeper coach. He said, in all fairness, we didn't play bad. We just need to start taking our chances. So yeah, but results kind of went against us. So we're now 5 points away from the next team above us. But now they have a game in hand on us because they get called off. Northwich Victoria, since they've moved grounds, have had pretty much every home game called off.
Oh dear.
So yeah, but we still have to play them, so that helps us a little bit. But we still do have games in hand on others around us, so that also helps us a little bit. Or that gap's starting to grow.
And at that level, what do you say? It's going to be at least one, possibly two go down, but then there's always a possibility of reprieves at that sort of stage as well, because some teams can't afford to or don't meet the grading to come up as well. So, and with sideways restructures and whatnot, I mean, you're down to a league of 18 teams this season, isn't it? Or
yeah, so we're under the impression, because of us only having 18 in the league, there is only one being relegated anyway. But for whatever reason, the FA and the league have not moved that line from 2 places, so there's a possibility 2 could go.
Right, yeah.
But speaking to a guy on Twitter, non-league maps, I think he's called, he seems to be in a know of this kind of things, and he's under the impression only one will go, especially now that Mask and someone else resigned from Step 3, Nuneaton Borough.
Yeah.
Now that they've gone, he's under.
So there's a good chance you stay in the same division, but
we'd like to make sure.
Yeah,
we'd like to make sure. We've lost a couple of players as well.
Not people making decisions.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I say, we've lost a couple of players in the last week or two as well. We lost Ewan Edwards. He's gone to Coleshill in Step 3, I think they are. No, Step 4. Again, no qualms with that. He's gone a step higher. Cameron East has gone. He's had a lot of injury problems this year, so he's gone somewhere where he knows he's going to get game time coming back from that injury. Cody Mullins left. He has to travel from a distance, so he's gone to somewhere which is closer to him, which again, you can't grumble at this level.
Can't argue with that, no.
No, and James Douglas has left as well. Now, I don't think he's gone anywhere. I think he's just left.
Right.
So I don't know what's happened there. But yeah, he's gone. But we've promoted a couple of players on the youth team. Can't remember the names off the top of my head. Seb and Tom are the first names, I believe, but I can't remember the last names. Apparently, one of them got on the weekend and did pretty well, so that's promising. We've brought Tom Cole in from Highgate United, so again, I think that helps strengthen us a little bit. I think the only place we're weak now with Cam and Cody, well, not weak, we could do with a bit more cover. Now that Cam and Cody have both gone his right back, we've really only got Zach that can play there at the minute. Oh, no, hang on, we've got Lewis right. But he prefers to play a bit more forward, so probably not his natural position. Yeah, we need goals, so we could do with forwards, but we've got Nashawn, Blake, due back from an injury. Tyler Boyce has just come back from an injury, so if we can keep everybody fit up front, our front three can be quite difficult to handle. If we can keep everybody fit.
We'll work out where the goal is.
Yeah. And that's what I think is confidence. But as I say, if you can't take confidence from going 3-0 down at the league leaders to coming back to draw 3-3, then I do fear. I do fear for him, because I don't know what more of a confidence boost you can get.
No, that was a good result, that one.
It was.
Okay. So any news? Anything in the news this week?
Yes. Kidsgrove Athletic played Avro on the weekend in some Step 4 division, Northern Premier League, Division 1 North, I think it is. Something like that. I don't know. Step 4 anyway.
We'll tell you where they are. Step 4. Okay.
It will definitely be Northern Premier League. I'm not sure which one of their many divisions.
Northern Premier League, Division 1 West.
West. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was abandoned in the 81st minute due to a Kidsgrove player, Anthony Melbourne, needing urgent and medical treatment on the pitch. Last update I saw was on Saturday evening saying that he was conscious and talking in hospital. So obviously saying serious. Not going to speculate as to what happened, but to say conscious and talking obviously sounds like potentially
That's a
collapse on
start
the
at
pitch.
least. Yeah.
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 But yeah, at least we had that bit of positive news from them to say on his health. So yeah,
Yeah.
best wishes to Anthony Melbourne, I suppose, is all we can say in that situation at the minute.
Yeah, they call him Albinio.
Yeah, saw that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's good. At least he's up and about. Well, up and awake and talking. That's always a good start. So yeah. So
yeah. As you say, if they're awake and talking a few hours after the incident, then generally they're clear of any danger at that point.
yeah,
Generally, not always
yeah.
the
So
case, but
against working out what went wrong and sort it out. So
yeah. And we're now here more than 48 hours later, and
yeah,
there's been no further update. So
yeah,
it's no news is good news, as we always say.
yeah, yeah.
Then we've got Hednesford. I'm not sure where they're playing now. I think they're step 4. They were step 3
Hednesford
at one point.
Town. Yeah. They play Northern Premier League Premier, so that's step 3.
Step 3. So they have on Sunday morning sat their manager Harry Harris. He's only been in charge since about November, I believe, late November. Timing's a little bit odd. Back end of last week, he signed 3 or 4 top players, including Nathan D'Alfonso, former Villa and Blackpool striker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've seen fit to relieve him of his duties Sunday morning. I know they had I think they've had 4 defeats on the bounce and they're towards the bottom, but quite frankly, they were lucky to even be playing football this season. They were saved at
Yeah,
the
I mean
11th hour last year.
the statement says results recently have been well below expectation, leaving them in an unhealthy position. So felt change was
Yes,
necessary.
it hasn't gone down well with the fans from what I can see on Twitter. Obviously, Twitter isn't the entire fan base, but you can usually get a good feeling of what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying he wasn't given enough time. He's a young and up and coming manager. It's the direction the club needs to be going. It's what with Harry they felt they trusted him to do. And there's people questioning him if his position was in doubt, why have you allowed him to make these big signings?
Yeah.
Plus, bearing in mind we're now a week away from non-league clubs not being able to sign players for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So realistically, they haven't appointed a new manager yet. It's going to be a player. I think is going to be an interim player manager until someone's appointed. So unless they get appointed someone in by Friday, he's going to have to work with the current playing staff anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So to me, the timing is a little bit odd.
Seems to be, doesn't it? So
Yeah. But I believe they've had new owners. So yeah. It seems as though they may. Well, people saying it seems as though they've got somebody lined up, but then it seems as though they haven't. So who knows?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Could be tricky. Yeah.
Before I go any further and before I forget, I said last week FA Trophy and FA Vars quarterfinals draws have been done.
Yeah.
I didn't have them written down last week. I do this week. So before we carry on with the news, I suppose it is news.
It is news. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go through those. So we'll start with the FA Trophy. So we're into the quarterfinals. So there's 4 games. So we've got Gateshead versus Peterborough Sports, Bromley versus Barnet, which should be a very good game. Both pushing. Well, they're both in the playoffs of the National League. Then we've got Wiltstone or Hendon versus Solihull Moors, and the last tie is The lowest ranked team left in it, step 4 of Macclesfield. At home to either Bishop Stortford or Coalville Town.
Right.
And then the Vars. Everyone now in the Vars is step 5, which is the highest level that you can be at for the Vars. So we have North Greenford United versus Romford.
Yes.
Yes, I believe that'll probably be your closest game.
It will, but it's inside the ULEZ, so I won't be going there because my car, as we know, is an old banger that costs money. So.
Yep. Then we have Worcester City versus Emily. That will be my closest game. Lincoln United versus Deal Town, and Great Wakering Rovers versus Falmouth Town.
That I like the sound of Great Wakering. That's Norfolk way, I think.
I think it is. I think that's going to be your next closest potentially.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I don't know a great deal about any of those teams other than Worcester City. They are absolutely flying in their league this season. Stufftown bought 5-1 last weekend. I'm not going to say they're favourites because I don't know. Like I say, I don't know enough about everyone else, but it's going to take a very good fight to beat them.
Yeah.
On paper, from the results of the last few rounds, I would also fancy Deal Town. They knocked out Bridgewater United, who knocked out Farnham Town. And other than the FA Cup defeat, that is the only game this season that Farnham Town have lost.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, have not won, because they've won every other game, Farnham Town.
Right.
So you'd have to fancy Deal Town as well for them to have beaten Bridgewater. Who we know, as we know, defeats are unacceptable as it costs them too much money. So I wonder how that went down with the chairman.
Exactly.
So that's the trophy in the Vars. The Vars is due to be played on the 9th of March. Let me just find out when the trophy is due. I forgot to write that down, but it's a couple of pages in, so it won't take me long to find. Also the 9th of March. So 2 weeks today. No, 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks today. 2 weeks away. So that's the trophy in the Vars, 9th of March. Any of those games localish to you and take your fancy? Should be a good day.
Yeah.
Teams are just 2 or 3 games away from Wembley, where we will be.
That is on the 10th.
11th.
Sorry, 11th of May, isn't it?
Yeah, 11th.
That'll be the 11th. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's non-league final day at Wembley.
Yeah. So back into the news. I spoke about Hednesford. Barnet are in the news this week. I don't know. We didn't talk about it last week. It's one of the things I penciled in but forgot and dropped. They played Wealdstone last weekend or the weekend before. Now there's a bit of a hoo-ha between Barnet and Wealdstone. Just briefly, Wealdstone initially submitted planning permission to build a stadium. Don't know what happened with it, but then all of a sudden, Barnet have built a stadium where they'd applied, where Wealdstone had applied for planning permission.
Oh, lovely.
So Wealdstone have always had a little bit of a grudge with Barnet because they feel that the Hive should be their home, not necessarily as the Hive is, but Wealdstone feel as though Barnet stole their ground.
Right.
So that game finished 1-1, I believe it was, but there was some trouble with the Wealdstone fans. Not 100% sure what it was. I know there was a Wealdstone fan pinning the steward down and beating the hell out of him. There was a couple of flares thrown from the stands into the pitch, one of those hitting a referee. And nobody fought to help the steward out. So a Barnet fan actually came out of the Barnet end, walked across the pitch to pull the Wealdstone fan off the steward.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway,
Mm.
the point I'm getting to, Barnet's chairman today, or owner, whatever he is, has announced that they've had plans approved to move back to Barnet because currently their ground is in Harrow, I believe.
I was just going to look it up on a map, actually. So hold on, hang on.
Yeah.
The Hive Stadium cameras having it. I don't know. Yeah, Mike. Okay, it is incredibly close. So I can see why Wealdstone would think it's more their home than Barnet's, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Barnet have had plans approved to build a stadium in Barnet. So they will be moving back to Barnet. I'm not sure. I've skimmed the article. I'm not sure. I didn't see any dates mentioned in there, but it looks like they're also building some kind of school. Whether that's a school they're going to attach to one of those academies, for the 16 to 18-year-olds or whatever it is, where they play football and that as well. There's going to be some artificial pitches, which are going to be used by the community as well as the main stadium. So it looks, if you can find it online, the plans look pretty good. I believe Barnet have played in the Football League, haven't they?
They have been up in there, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to say I feel like I can remember them being there in my lifetime, which is established the weekend is getting on a bit now. Getting older than I like to admit. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be an 8,000 seater jobby. So,
yes. Yeah. So there's been a bit of a fun on Twitter with the Barnet fans saying, "Oh, you can have your ground back now." To Wealdstone fans and saying, "We don't want it."
They'd be silly not to take it.
They would, yeah. What else have we got? Getting to the end, last couple of things to round up. Up the weekend, in the Northwest Counties Premier League, there was a scheduled game for Saturday between the Isle of Man and Bury.
Oh, yeah.
So, Saturday morning, same as most Saturdays when the Isle of Man at home. The away team is in either Manchester or Liverpool Airport, whichever one it is they deem appropriate. Get on their plane for their flight over to the Isle of Man. Flying along, get in there, get to the Isle of Man, told to circle for a little bit, and sent back with inclement weather. I think it was fog. They were told they couldn't land, so they were sent back. Yeah. This then creates a problem. There's a game scheduled for 3 o'clock. The opposition aren't there.
Yeah.
Obviously beyond the team's control. But at this point, there's been an invasion of Bury fans onto the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And I say invasion because Bury don't travel in small numbers.
No,
I think there was
800 fans making the trip.
I think there was about 800 there, who you would assume have either travelled the night before or gone over by ferry. So Logan Air, I believe, is the official airline partner of Isle of Man FC.
Right.
They're like, well, we've got one other flight at 6:10, but it's full.
Yeah.
So they're trying to come up with another solution with the Isle of Man, blah, blah, blah. Get to the point. There's a tweet put out by Bury saying if any Bury fans on the 6:10 flight, because they said if they can get on that flight, they can kick off later on because it's not a long flight from Manchester or Liverpool to the Isle of Man, is it?
No.
We can kick off and that kick off at 8 o'clock or whatever it is. Fine. At 3:39, apparently, they're told the Isle of Man have informed Bury, we've got places on this flight for you.
Yeah.
Problem is, at 3:30, the Bury players have left the airport and gone home.
Yeah.
This is what the Isle of Man have put out first because they put the statement out first. And the Isle of Man have been informed by Bury there was no chance that the players are going to turn back around and come back to the airport tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, so on the face of it, you think, oh, Bury thinking they're bigger than everyone again. But no, here comes the Bury statement.
Yeah.
So obviously, what happened with the flight in the morning, with the weather and whatnot, we all know about that, with it being cancelled and turned back.
Yeah.
Then they're working all day with Loganair to try and find a solution.
Yeah.
It's agreed with Loganair they can get to Heysham, I think is the ferry port,
Yeah.
but they would need transport from the airport to Heysham. Loganair are like, that's fine, we can pay for coaches, minibuses, taxis, whatever, but we need to get it approved by our head office. They struggle to get that approval. They finally get it 20 minutes or half an hour, whatever it is, before the ferry is due to leave. Problem is, it's a 90-minute car journey from the airport to the ferry port, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah. That's not going to happen, no.
No. It's then agreed that if there is no update by 3:30, the Bury players will leave the airport. And I believe the Iron Man are involved in this decision. I don't know. That's what Bury have led us to believe.
Yeah.
I don't know. If no decision is made by 3:30, the Bury players will give up for today and try again Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Got to 3:30, no decisions come through, no update. So the Bury players have left, understandably. They've been there since God knows what time in the morning. For 9 minutes later, be told you found those places. But Bury then also come back and say, we're in constant communication with the Loganair staff in the airport. They're telling us there is absolutely no chance we're getting on that flight.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they're just in the space. But anyway, next morning, they got on a 6:10 in the morning flight, I believe it was.
Yeah, 7-ish or something like that.
Something like that. Did make it across to the Isle of Man, did land, did get the game played, and stuffed them 2-0.
Yep.
Yeah, Isle of Man 0, Bury 2. And as much as we've given Bury stick on this podcast for a few things, in this situation, I don't really think there's much else they could have done. Well, there wasn't anything else they could have done.
They tried every avenue, didn't they? And they had to have a time cut off and say, right, if it's not done by this, we'll try again tomorrow. They have to. You've got to make a decision. You can't just leave it hanging in the air. You've got to put your deadlines in place. And fair play, I think. So they tried. So
yeah, and as Bury stated as well, in the airport, the players are in the airport for however many hours it was, without food and without water.
Yeah, so, they weren't going to be put to play that evening anyway. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wish there wasn't this culture of non-league teams, especially on Twitter, trying to make the other team look bad in a situation where nothing can really be done.
Yeah, there does seem to be quite a lot of that, doesn't there? So
yeah, sometimes it's in jest, and you have to know the situation, what's going on. But then other times it's blatant. Well, we tried to do this, but they said, right, well, no, let's just all be adults about it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, they got the game on. Bury won. End of story, really. So.
Yep. And the final thing, I've not really looked too much into it, but I noticed in the non-league paper that Keir Starmer made a visit to Rushden and Diamonds last week.
Oh, right.
And he has said he will make non-league thrive again. So, if he's ever Prime Minister, he has stated he will ensure that non-league football survives and thrives. He's been playing football since he was 10, apparently. He's the current Arsenal season ticket holder, which made me laugh, considering he's going on about non-league. But I have it with me here. He played for North London side Homerton Alchemicals. So it has quite strong link to non-league football.
All right. Okay. Cool.
And the King has also, in Parliament, released a legislation for an independent regulatory body away from the FA, which is apparently designed to help protect non-league.
Right. Okay.
So we're not political on this podcast. We try to keep away from it, but for the sake of non-league football, vote Labour in the upcoming election. We don't care about any other policies. Just for non-league football, vote Labour.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
That'll be good.
I think currently that is quite a clever time to release that comment from Keir Starmer as well.
Yeah.
Given what's been announced surrounding energy companies and whatnot in the last week or so, like I say, we're not going to get into it, but I think the timing of that is quite apt.
Oh, there'll be somebody working out. This is a good time to say this, so somebody will be pressing the buttons. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that is the news.
So you've got a game at Tividale on Saturday, I take it. You got any midweek games this week?
Hopefully tomorrow for the third attempt. Hopefully we've got Llantwit in the Birmingham Senior Cup second round.
Right.
And the winner of that, whoever that is, whenever that may be, given that it's been called off twice already, will play Aston Villa in the third round.
Oh, right, okay.
So quite the carrot.
I won't get midweek gaming because I'm going to be down in South Wales tomorrow, so I don't think I can find anything down. I'll try and find something if it's all right, but it's doubtful I'll get to a game midweek. So it'll just be down to me going out and seeing what's around locally. So I've got no idea where I might go.
A Newport at home tomorrow.
Hey, what? That's a good
Newport.
question.
Because I know you looked at Swansea. Yeah, I was going to say, I know you looked at Swansea, but I was like, did you look at Newport?
No, I didn't. I'll have a look around, see if there's a game on, but if there isn't, then I'll just be on for one match this week, which will be Saturday. I will definitely go somewhere Saturday, don't know where.
Yeah, we're at home, as you say. Somewhat of a funny month. We seem to be playing everyone straight again. It's like back to back. So we host Congleton this week. I would like to say we could get something from the game, but given what we did to them at Congleton, there's a chance they could come out and absolutely slaughter us. Which we said they could have done to us at Congleton. But given that we blemished their perfect home record and came from 3 down, I think they will be raring and looking to get some kind of revenge. But interestingly, they've suffered a little bit of a wobble because they drew again at the weekend.
Oh, right, okay.
Whitchurch Oldport, who are also one of our relegation rivals. So thanks, Congleton. Thought you might do us a favour there, but no. But no, in all honesty, Whitchurch is a difficult place to go at the best of times. But their pitch this year doesn't seem to be the best it's ever been. So potentially, again, the pitch helped Whitchurch. That's no disrespect to Whitchurch. Our pitch isn't the best it's ever been. In fact, our pitch is probably the worst it's been for the last few years. And as I say, it's been a difficult winter for pitches. So yeah. So yeah.
Well,
if you can and you're around, love to see you there. And we have a race night on the evening as well to try and raise some funds for the club from 8 o'clock.
Excellent. Well, good luck with that one. And yes, there we go. Well, enjoy your matches this week, and we'll reconvene next Monday with a bit of luck and record another one.
Yes, sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Yes. Speak to you next week.
Yep, speak to you next week. Adios.